Welcome back, everybody. Again, my name is Dr. Dan Goloszewski with today's Dr. Dan Health Nugget, and we're going to cover mindful eating and drinking, or you can call this Nutrition 101. Again, with so much information out there, where do we begin? What type of foundation should we have in place for ourselves when it comes to mindful eating and drinking? And it begins with how are we viewing the food on our plate, the beverage that we're consuming. So there's 5 factors to consider when it comes to mindful eating and drinking. Factor number 1, nutrient density. That's the amount of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and enzymes in a food per gram. There's a table available that you could, if you Google it, on nutrient density that will rank and score different food groups. For example, vegetables are going to have your highest score. Then just below that will be your fruits, your raw nuts and seeds, foods that are very, very minimally processed or not processed at all are going to come below that. And then going down the list to the end are obviously going to be your refined foods, your starchy foods, and your sweets. The next factor to consider is glycemic load, the effect a food has on our blood sugar levels. So insulin is the hormone produced by our pancreas that responds to whenever we consume sugar. Now, sugar can come from fruit. Sugar can come from artificial foods and sweets, like a donut. We want to be mindful of how much sugar we're consuming. So the goal when it comes to glycemic load and sugar consumption should be 50 grams or less per day. Factor number 3 is going to be inflammation. Food has effect on our immune system, and our immune system will respond and send out inflammatory markers to different areas of our body in order to heal those parts of our body, because food could either be our safest form of medicine or our slowest form of poison. And inflammation is a very key factor when it comes to mindful eating and drinking. So inflammation, we know, is linked to heart disease, the number 1 killer in the United States, as well as cancer, as well as cognitive dysfunction and a whole slew of other illnesses, including autoimmune illnesses. Factor number 4 is digestion and absorption. So oftentimes we say we are what we eat, but we're not officially that. We are what we digest and what our bodies actually break down and process and take up into our cells. So we want to make sure that our guts are healthy. So with so much starchy foods and processed foods that we consume and our kids consume these days, we're not digesting our food effectively. So maybe something like a probiotic can help you. Digestive enzymes, which are energized protein molecules that help to break down your food if you do suspect leaky gut or any type of digestive impairment. And then factor number 5 is going to be pH. That's the electrical charge of our blood. So there's 2 places you could be. You could either be alkaline or you could be acidic. Whenever your body's in an acidic state, that's where diseases thrive: cancers, heart disease, and other diseases. So now then, what are the 3 focuses with mindful eating and drinking? Number 1 is, as we had already mentioned, sugar. We want to aim to consume 50 grams or less of sugar per day. That's total sugar, including fruit. Factor number 2 is we want to change the type of fat that we're eating. Yes, there is such a thing as good fat. So that's going to be foods like avocados, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, raw nuts and seeds, and even organic meats. So you'll learn from me, I am a fan of meat. So that's your oily wild-caught fish, your grass-fed red meats, as well as free-range poultry. The third focus we want to do is we want to switch from conventionally processed meats. So that's any meat that you find in the grocery store that doesn't have the USDA organic label on it, and it doesn't have the words free-range, grass-fed, or wild-caught. And then what does this mean for us? How do we apply this right here and right now? We want to consider the nutrient-dense foods. So we want to be aiming for about half of our daily calories from vegetables, followed by fruits, followed by raw nuts and seeds. And then you're going to have your organic meats, your teas, your coffees, your starchy foods. Those are going to only make up a small amount. You're looking anywhere from 10% to 15% of your daily caloric intake. It's just a matter of being mindful. What are you taking in consistently? Because either that's going to build your body up and be the safest form of medicine, or it's going to be the slowest form of poison if you're off the rails all the time and not being mindful of what you're eating, putting on your plate, and taking in. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Maybe you've made some changes and you could share those by commenting below. And we'll see you again on the next video.